Should a doctor be allowed to prescribe a lethal dose of drugs when someone with a terminal illness reaches the last stages of their life? That is the question being considered by a High Court judge today. Noel Conway has motor neurone disease. As the law stands, any doctor that helped him to die would face up to 14 years in jail. Mr. Conway wants a judicial review to challenge that law, and he's expected to find out if he's been successful in the next hour.
I'm on the ventilator nearly 20 hours out of the 24. And it does allow me some quality of life, as I've said. But increasingly I'm coming to rely on that ventilator. So there'll come a stage when I've got it on permanently. Now that's going to be problematic. Both for, well, not so much for communication, because I can use different masks, whilst I've still got my voice. But there are a number of lines in the sands that you contemplate when you're terminally ill. You never know which one is going to be the real one. But one of them for me is being bedridden and not being able to move. I do not want to die very slowly of suffocation and being semi-conscious until I'm in a position where, I don't even know what's going on. That's called, for some people, they say, that's good palliative care. Well, I'm sorry. That's just not an acceptable option for me.
Noel Conway, who is too ill to attend court today. Let me introduce you to Ian Pratt. Ian, like Mr. Conway, has motor neurone disease and also wants to be able to choose when to end his life when the time comes. And Michael Wenham is with us. He also has motor neurone disease but doesn't believe the law should be changed. And that's Jane next to Michael. That's Michael's wife. Welcome all of you. Thank you very much. And I really want to hear you, Ian, and you, Michael, talk to each other because you are the experts here. But Ian, why don't you begin by telling us why you support Noel Conway in wanting a doctor to have the ability to prescribe a lethal dose of drugs to help Noel Conway die at the moment of his choosing?
Because I think it's a personal choice. Motor neurone disease is an incredibly difficult disease to live with, and every one of us have a different ability to cope with that. And I just feel I was diagnosed 5 years ago. I'm one of the luckier ones with this disease. Most people don't get that far, but I would like the choice that when I can't cope with this disease any longer, that I'm able to make that choice.
Michael?
My main objections are what is being proposed is that actually it will endanger more people and it will help. I think we need to weigh the private benefit against the public danger.
Ian?
Sorry, I couldn't hear Michael very well. I'm just, I can understand Michael's perspective. And it's not for everybody, but I think each individual person should be able to choose what they can cope with and what they can't cope with when living with this disease.
What are your worries, Michael, if the law is changed?
My main worry is that once one legalises the taking of life, then we open the way and we break the barrier from protecting life. I think the protection of life is the most important thing.
James,
I agree with you, Michael. I think protection of life is important, but at some point, not all of us want to, like Noel, not all of us want to linger on and be in palliative care. And I mean, I can understand his perspective, and I can certainly understand yours.
Yeah, and I can understand yours, but I've known a lot of people with our condition, and it's not pleasant to live with. I don't think it's so unpleasant to die from, but that's my own view. I do think that discriminating between life that's worth living and life that's not worth living is dangerous, and it poses dangerous for the disabled, people with Down syndrome, people with dementia, and one thing. Anyway, that's...
Jane, for those who couldn't quite just tell what Michael said then, just tell us.
He was saying that it's dangerous to start discriminating between what life that's worth living and life that's not worth living. So, for example, for the disabled, for Down syndrome, for people with dementia. Yes, it's a difficult decision to start making.
Absolutely, Jane, but I think where we need to be very clear with this is that the legislation is proposed is that you must be terminally ill, 6 months to live, there's a judicial process, there's doctor intervention. I don't see this whole slippery slope that everybody keeps being concerned about.
But isn't terminal illness very difficult to define in? I thought when I was diagnosed, like you, I suspect, I thought I had a year or two to live, and then now 15 years old, I'm still alive. And think of people that live in Lockerbie Bomber with 11 diagnosed with 3 months to live with cancer, and he lives for 3 more years.
Yeah. I can completely understand that, because, you know, I have no idea. I've never asked what my prognosis is. I don't want to know.
Can I ask, sorry to interrupt, gentlemen, Ian, can I ask you about your quality of life at the moment?
Victoria, every day I explain my life as being difficult. Every day is difficult. Some days it's just more difficult than others. But, you know, I'm spending more and more time in bed. I'm spending more and more time on my ventilator. I'm spending less and less time with my daughter. You know, I mean, it's a vile disease. I don't know how you can sum it up. But, you know, I'm certainly not, I believe there is a terminal phase with this disease, and I'm not in that terminal phase yet.
No, but you would like to choose the time when you die?
I would like to have the option that when my time is coming to an end, it can be made, there can be intervention that can be made as quick as possible, no suffering, and then my wife, my doctor, and my family are protected from any fear of prosecution.
Yeah. Jane, can I ask you about the quality of your husband's life and your life?
At the moment, it's okay. In that we can still get around, but Michael's very dependent upon me or for a carer if I weren't around. He can't get out of bed or, you know, cook for himself and things like that. But he is still able to just about stand and move a bit around the house, but otherwise then confined to a wheelchair.
No, I can't get dressed. I can't go to the loo on my own. No, I'm utterly dependent on my life on Jane. I'm lucky that Jane is at home. She's willing to look after me, and she's very good at it.
Yep. I mean, I have full-time care. My wife goes over and beyond what a wife would normally do in a relationship. She works. She has to support her child. She looks after me no end. I mean, it's just, the disease just has so many effects on people's life. But I wouldn't make a choice to end that, to make it simpler for Catherine. You know, that's not my intention. My intention is to live for as long as possible, having as quality a life as possible. But when I get to the end stage, and I think we all know when that comes, that I just want it to be as easy and quick as possible.
I want to thank you all so much for coming on the programme. Thank you. Michael Wenham and Jane, thank you. And
well,
go on, Michael.
You're welcome. I look forward to hearing what the court says. Well, Parliament has voted a lot of time on this, and has always voted against changing the law. And I think they discussed it and considered all the implications better than I could have.
Jane, I wonder if you could tell us what Michael has said for those who couldn't hear.
He said that Parliament has repeatedly thought about changing the law and has come against changing the law. And obviously gone into great depths about it, so they know more than Michael does, and probably a lot of others.
Oh, absolutely. But I still think, you know, I think at this point, it still comes down to a personal choice. And if nobody else is affected but the person and their family that choose to go down that path.
Thank you. I'm going to pause there. Thank you so much. Ian Pratt, thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
And Michael and Jane Wenham. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We will bring you the ruling from the High Court. We're expecting it sometime after 10. As soon as it comes in, of course, we will bring that to you. Right, we're going to